Phone on standby. Fortunately, I need it for.
What up, everyone? Switch Job here, and with my friend Game Guy, and well, today we are just doing our Mario Randomizer insanity, some plus some chats, and yeah, so that's gonna be fun. So it's not the first time we do the Mario Randomizer, and we had even done some Mario Randomizer Chaos Edition, which is a lot more crazier than the original Mario Randomizer. Oh man, that's some of these things about Mario Randomizer is a very unpredictable. Like when you're putting the C's in that how in the number certain courses and um what I'm trying to say is that there is a low how low you can ask for and how high numbers. And no matter what number you actually ask for, the outcome of how Mario's appearance, it's impossible to tell exactly how he looks like, unless unless if we have used that number of seed on MP4, which yeah, it's not impossible. Just saying. As Game Guy once told me that even though that Mario can have any colors on his clothes, shoes, and even his hat, it's not necessarily saying that, but you can actually even have in his original uh, clothes, in his original colors. I mean, that's an option. You know, talking about the Mario game, there's actually one game that that game guy had played. Well, actually, his brother Roy played. Um, Mario Paper King Origami King. I actually came across this short video on YouTube about, I think it was about a day or two ago. They were actually that game when it was originally released. Well, let's say that game ended up in a legal battle because they turned out they used this song in the background, and it turned out that the creator of the music or the musician, the original creator, found out about it, and he didn't even approve for them to be using this particular song. So he took Nintendo into court because using his song in one of their games. But the creator of Mario and Nintendo actually responded that with had looked it up because the song turned out wasn't even it wasn't privately owned. It was a public domain, which means anything that you make within a public domain is that people can use freely without being having copyright. It's like so it turned out the creator was right. He looked it up and well. And another thing is like when you're talking about public domain, as you guys may have remember that Disney, well, actually Pinocchio had this. No, what's it? Mickey Mouse actually has his first horror movie made in Canada, which is going to be released sometime in August. Actually, since Mickey Mouse was originally made within the Walt Disney Company, they owned Mickey Mouse character, but not anymore because they had expanded that ownership the owner rights for Mickey Mouse character for years, but eventually it expired. It had been in their possession for 95 years, so almost a century. So now Mickey Mouse character is public domain. And there are in fact some other characters, what are like Peter Pan or Pinocchio. Well, Pinocchio actually isn't private owned by Disney. It turned out it's actually been a public domain for over 100 years by the creator. And yeah, and since even though that a British company made a slasher movie based on Winnie the Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh, the Blood and Honey, it also should be saying that is also Disney, but not as much as the original law. If anyone would even to make let's say a horror movie based on King Arthur and the Round Table, well, all I can say it's actually perfectly legal because no one owns King Arthur as that all. About the Robin Hood, while the original Robin Hood, same thing. Both King Arthur and Robin Hood had been public domain as a story for centuries. King Arthur's story started back in late medieval times, I believe. It's like I think it was around near the end of 400 to 500 AD. As for Robin Hood, I believe it's around 1100 to 1200 AD or something like that. So that character Robin Hood is a public domain, but the character from that Disney has, the foxes character, other animal characters, well, that might actually be the Disney's property. Just saying. So if anyone wanted to make anything a story based on different characters from Disney, well, it might be tricky because it, it's just that if anyone want to make a horror movie based on that, it's a little tricky because one word, lawsuit. And I do tell you, getting a lawsuit based on that, it's not worth it. Even long before that Mickey Mouse, Disney lost their rights to ownership of Mickey Mouse character, there was this preschool that literally had put up in one of those classrooms along the wall, like a wallpaper that literally had Mickey Mouse head, and they actually had posted that on social media. But this was years ago, and exactly how many years I don't even remember. It's just had to be more than 10 years ago. So I don't know how, but somehow Disney came across this, and their spokesperson actually actually reached out to this daycare or preschool, informing them that they had to either had to remove that Mickey Mouse head from their classroom or facing a lawsuit. So they rather been doing that, and I don't know if this was a public or a private preschool. So I don't think they want to take the chance to go to court for that, which they would immediately believe knows they will lose. So yeah. So basically, if you want to make any videos or movies based on the Disney characters like that, just make sure you do your research because some of the characters may actually belong to Disney. Some of the characters may even be public domain. Just to be made perfect clear on that, you really don't want to be put yourself in the risk of being lawsuit. I know for a fact that the same company that made Winnie the Pooh horror movies actually is the development for Bambi, the deer, as a horror movie, which is actually had even released the first trailer of it. And I've seen it. I am so disappointed at it. And it turned out he is a complete maniac. Why he is a maniac? Well, it turned out he fell into some radioactive waste or some kind. And Pinocchio also is going to be a horror movie based on the same company that made that. And Peter Pan, Neverland's Nightmare is also one of the movies that's being produced by the same company. But there is another, considering they also had shown interest to do a horror movie based on
All right.
Thor, the Norse god, including
All right.
Teletubbies. And but Teletubbies is copyrighted owned business, so it's not like they can just simply do that. So just saying. And there were actually one particular song. Okay, this song is one of the most top known happy birthday song. There were at one point that there were some people actually believed it was copyrighted, but it is not even that all. It's public domain, meaning you can sing it at any time. You can upload videos of it. And the same thing as for when it comes to the others, like the wedding march song. Same thing, also public domain. So you know, seems like the Mario Super Bros. Super Mario Bros.
What?
Came out back in about a year ago, or something like that. I actually I did read there are plans, or at least considered to do a spin-off based on Luigi's Haunted Mansion and something like that.
Not please
And
walk.
I'm actually looking. I'm really hoping. I mean, I might
It's
not be saying this, but um, I might expecting that movie actually will have a sequel. And right, Donkey Kong also have been talked about having a spin-off based on that. It's the same thing as for Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the same thing as from that. They actually had a spin-off series based on Knuckles. And that series was taking place between the second and the third movie.
let's see.
And they're actually being confirmed at least two characters from that live action series, the next Sonic movie. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves will play as the role as Shadow. Who else? Well, Maria, Robotnik's cousin. Whoa, okay, that's the Mario.
Yeah, that seems right.
So Maria will also play a role in the next live action movie, and it is confirmed by Jim Carrey himself that he will replay his role as Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Even though back before after the second movie had its release, there were discussions that even Jim Carrey had at least considered to retire from acting from entirely. So I was like, if he's going to retire from acting as Robotnik and all that, will they be using a CGI model for uh, for Robotnik? But it turned out that wouldn't even had happened. And but just imagine this. So if Jim Carrey would had somehow not returned as the role of Robotnik, who would have been taking over? I mean, if they would even have made the third movie, who was going to be the next bad guy? Because we all know that Sonic's iconic arch nemesis is Robotnik or Eggman. So who would otherwise be replacing that role to fit in to be the new main villain for Sonic? I don't know. I mean, even though in the second movie where Knuckles being tricked by Robotnik to believe that Sonic is the main bad guy. It's actually is canonical. That's canon because in some of the other TV series, the Sonic Underground, Robotnik tricks Knuckles to believing that, and so I'm curious to see how the third movie will be like. And if there will be a fourth movie, will like AB Rose appearing in it? If that would happen, it's well, let's say what's gonna happen though is that she will chase after Sonic like in the previous games and shows. But the only thing is that um as we know, Amy really wants to be Sonic's girlfriend, all that, and even marrying him, all stuff. But here's the thing: if Amy would appear in the fourth movie or in the third movie, and if she would have been adopted by the same humans that adopted him, Tails, and Knuckles, it would not be possible for it would be kind of actually quite weird for Sonic and Amy to be dating since they're considered to be as adopted siblings. So, unless even though that if Amy would had end up in one of the future movies, if it's gonna be one of those, um, considering what if that maybe Sonic will be having Amy will return or actually appear in the fourth movie if there's gonna be one, and that if she would have end up being adopted by the same human family, Sonic and Amy would not end up being dating at all because they would be adopted siblings, and that would have been a bit considered a bit weird, especially for the fans. So unless they actually find out a way for her to be adopted by another family, so in that sense, Amy and Sonic could actually end up being dating. Though, if they both make that Amy will appear in a movie, what about some of the other characters like Omega or Rouge? It's some of the most impressive how this actually been happening. I mean, we all know what happened after the first movie. Well, before the first movie was even released. Well, let's say his outlook or his design was pretty terrible. Yikes. So, how's your day been though, Game Guy?
That's been decent.
Same here. I haven't done much. Finish off the story that one of my subscribers' birthday's gift, and slowly been working on a new movie quiz. Um, so other than that, I really haven't done much other than uh, been on YouTube most of the part of the day, watch TV, but that's pretty much it. You know, just been lazy. I mean, being lazy is a pretty much the best thing to be, especially in the weekends. Oh man, I wonder if anyone else is going to join in the stream though. Like, I don't know, Kubo, Malachi, even Taylor maybe, or Valis edits. Considering how many of this game we have done so far, or this, you know, if you would, if you know how to be doing coding and all that stuff, would you even consider your own game?
Probably not. I don't know anything about coding.
I mean, if you did know about coding and all that stuff and programming, and would you even consider to make your own game, even though you might not even it not be able to sell, but making your own game just for fun of it.
Probably not.
Mm. Um. Oh, but even if that you were not being, would you work for a company like Nintendo and be a test player? Testing the new games before they being actually being released to detect any bugs or and still get paid for it.
That I would definitely do.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I know for a fact that even my girlfriend's brother also wants to be a test player or something like that. But if I had to be doing coding or anything, yeah, I will totally suck on that. I am not so good at coding or programming. I hadn't even given it much chance, but yeah, I probably been working out since I just forget much about it. And did you kick that Goomba off the edge?
Yup. Actually, I punched him off the edge. I was very angry today. Faster than me.
That was
Hold on,
just
let me just
great.
do it again. Bye.
Oh man, it was a great game.
Where's? Oh wait, hold on a second. Found the last coin. Where the heck is this going to spawn? Please don't spawn anywhere stupid. That's fine. Right.
Yeah, I mean Mario Super Randomizer is always a fun game. I mean different colors on him and punching a Goomba after the edge like that. I mean it's just oh man, this great game.
Where is it?
Where is the where is the next star?
That's what. Oh, found it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, you don't have to walk far.
I couldn't find it for a second.
Oh, there we go. So, based on all this different colors that you have for Mario, for what is the most funniest combination of colors that you had when playing the game on him?
Oh god, I couldn't possibly tell you. I've gotten a lot of good combinations over the years.
You know, having a Mario having like being black and white, like if it was like an inmate or even blue and white or maybe red and white.
Hey, Buzzer.
Oh snap! Not him. Yeah, people actually assuming that he is the main bad guy and all this, but he isn't. He I have to say that Bowser's title as a villain, um, not necessarily for my opinion, more like anti-hero. I mean, he would be like Shadow. I mean, Shadow is basically can't be a bad guy and even though he has helped, you know, Sonic and his friends throughout times. So I don't think that Mario would even either considered Bowser as a villain, even though he could have been act like a villain for from time to time, depend on situation, but he's more like could have been a villain and also anti-hero. I mean, since Bowser has helped Mario and Luigi from certain situation and also for games or like that, so I don't think he would have been a like 100% back this a bad villain. I mean, what if they decide to make Donkey Kong as a main villain in one game? I mean, unless that he was more like a brainwashed or something, or if they decide to make to give Luigi an evil counterpart I mean, unless from like Waluigi and Wario, but like a doppelganger that looks exactly like identical to um, Luigi, but were opposite personality, like evil. But yeah, who knows? Since Waluigi and Wario would have been considered as the evil counterpart of Mario and Luigi, even though the oh, that's a nice ship. But if Wario and Waluigi is Mario and Luigi's evil counterpart, then what about Peach? Would that be like the Bowsette? Even though it's not like an official character, but do you think Bowsette would otherwise be considered as Peach evil counterpart?
Eh, maybe. Never
And
seen a
if
star you
that,
grab like that before.
and if Luigi or if Bowsette would have been Peach evil counterpart, what about like say Daisy? In fact, we had never seen much of Daisy wouldn't have like an evil counterpart. There is actually there is one princess that I wasn't even aware of existed within the Mario franchise. She has a more connection to Wario. What was her name again?
I don't
Princess.
want to
Oh,
talk. What just happened?
I think her name is Princess Shokun. Shunu. Nothing about Shu. Is that something that you have heard?
Princess from Shake It? I'm assuming, or maybe it's like Wario Land 3. It was one of those
Yeah,
games, I think.
yeah. I heard that this is supposed to be a princess based on from Wario, but it's just I don't actually remember her name since
If we're
I
going
actually
back
never
to wherever
played
this
in
was
the
going.
games, and um,
Well, I guess we're about to
I
find out where his
also
game.
and I am actually even aware of this. There is an old cartoon show of Mario. Never saw it. That was what made in I think it was like mid to late 80s, way before I was even born. But other than that, I don't know. Considering we're the first live action Mario movie back in 1993, yeah, that is a trash movie. It's really one of it's probably one of the first things that it came across my mind, or at least that I believe that was the actual first thing that literally introduced me to Mario franchise. Even though, even in that movie, they're actually living in Brooklyn. Oh, that was nice timing, Mario. um, but yeah, they were living in Brooklyn. They were well. The only difference is that in this movie, they actually were under um, kind of under a threat from this mob boss, which later in the movie turned into like a chimpanzee. Literally, that's just weird. But Daisy, I thought since there was supposed to be a Mario movie, I thought at least that Peach would have been the princess, not Daisy. And later turned out that not only Daisy, but everyone in that whole of Earth in the first Mario Bros. Movies that came out back in the 90s, they were actually highly evolved dinosaurs, not humans. That is a plot twist that I was not expected though. Seriously. But considering at least from one thing is that it's really different, very how to say disappointed because I know for a fact at the time I had learned Bowser was the main villain, all that in those games, and that they had this bad guy in the movie, but he was called Koopa, not Bowser. And in fact, he was a highly evolved T-Rex and all that. I mean, even though at the time I stopped watching the movie maybe 2, 3 times by now by time, and even though, oh, that's a different Mario. You know, um, even though I actually enjoyed to watch the first Mario movie, but I was a very young kid back at the time, so I didn't know much whether to like or dislike since I wasn't much aware of Mario franchise. Only that the time that the first movie, it only by the time after that I get to learn about some characters like Bowser, Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Daisy, and others. But over years later, I came to realize that was not even like any of the original Mario player characters, the world where they are. Like they were in the Mushroom Kingdom and not in on Earth. I was so yeah. That was the time when I realized that movie is not canon, and I didn't even like it. I mean, I kind of liked it in the beginning when I first saw it, but it wasn't until years later when I learned how this movie was not even somehow correct within a Mario franchise or anything like it. Sure, they have Mario and Luigi having looking like exactly like their attire, but Mario Bros. From '90s, it was far off. Even though I liked it first when I was a kid, but years later, I didn't like it much. It's just how the movie evolved from that. But even though I haven't seen a thoroughly of this entire new movie, I have seen clips, part of from it. As far as I can say right now, I like it. I hadn't even seen the whole movie yet, but I will eventually. And again, you don't have to worry about me making a quiz based on the first Super Mario Bros. Movie because that is not happening. That movie was terrible, really terrible. But
Last
okay,
time. Oh,
how would you say from this? If any of our friends even had suggested to make a quiz based on the first live action Super Mario Bros. Movie, what would you tell them? I would say, nope, that's not happening. But what are your opinion about it, though?
I'd say a big. I'd say that's a big fat no.
Yeah,
If I
I mean,
die,
I admit though, some of the special effects in that movie was it's they weren't that bad. I mean, they were like top notch
no.
back in uh,
Okay.
back in the '90s. But other than that itself, well, the movie was terrible. But I won't be doing any quiz for my game streams based on horror movies like those cold status, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy Krueger, or Jason Voorhees. Well, actually, only one Jason Voorhees movie that's gonna be a quiz, and that's Jason X. The only Jason Friday 13 movies I actually been seeing. I hadn't even seen the original ones. I hadn't even seen any of the Friday 13. Freddy Krueger. Uh, I seen only one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, but the first movie I saw was like, this is supposed to be a horror movie? Huh, that's even better. I mean, some of the classical horror movies like Friday 13, all those, I mean, I don't think that they're bad. I mean, but as many knows, sequels of a classical horror movie usually don't. It's getting better. Some movies get better from sequels, but others just get better, getting worse and worse, and then absolute worst. So I mean, it depends on what type of genre, what type of franchise it is. So yeah, I don't know. So any movie quiz based on horror movies for my Geisha streams, let's say they won't happen, except for Jason X. But I really much, even though I'm a big fan of horror movies, but most of the horror movies that's been made for the past few years, they haven't even been that good. They have just really haven't been that good, to be honest. They are like maybe from between 1 to almost 2 hours and 2.5 hours long. I'd be like, uh, oh. Sometimes I can almost predict what will happen. Though, even though there actually had only been a few horror movies that literally scared me, but I was just a young kid back then. But I sometimes, I did see some horror movies, like The House of Haunted Hill. That was like a remake from
Oh,
the first one. The first one they made was 1955 or 59, I believe, but it was not sometimes in the 50s. And I saw the remake, and boy, I don't tell you, it was terrible. I mean, I saw even the sequel of that one, and it totally sucked. Though there is one actually based on Stephen King's books, Rose Red. They actually made as a mini series, which even Stephen King had a small role in it. I seen that series. At the first time I saw it, well, I say I was pretty freaked out for a while. And it somehow is even now on YouTube. If you want to watching it, it's about, I think the whole series, I think it's about 3 to 4 hours
please don't
long.
put this somewhere stupid.
So that's gonna be interesting. I've seen it a few times after since,
I
but
hate this game. Alright, cool. Wait, I see it. Hold on a second. Are you ready to see something amazing?
all right then.
That wasn't the amazing thing I wanted to show you. You know what? I'm dedicated now. I'm doing it the way I wanted it to do it before. Before Mario said he didn't feel like it.
Um, I have
Try
noticed
it
there is I have noticed in the background, or at least in the bottom corner, there's this figure with a camera. First, there's Mario with a camera on it next to it, and now that there's a Goomba, I believe.
That's a Lakitu. Ha ha! That's how you get
Nice.
these.
But yeah, but have you seen in the corner, like right bottom corner, where it says like a camera?
Yeah, that's how you control the. Hold on a second. I can
Because
show
it's like
you
a
actually pretty good in this area. That's how you. That's how you do this. That's how you move the camera around. Like you can make it more up high, like this, close to the Mario, like that, up like that.
hmm.
They're an important part of the game.
I know I have known some names of this creatures or beings that is actually Goombas, Koopas, but those spiders, they have a name,
Those are called scuttlebugs.
huh? What about that uh, vulture?
His name is Klepto. Is Klepto. Klepto
Huh.
the Condor, I believe. That's what he's supposed to be anyway.
Yeah, and I also know those bombs. They're bombs. What about those cactus that are in the background there?
Those are Pokies. They need to move faster. Yeah,
did,
yeah.
did you say did you say pokies?
I did say Pokies. Just call Pokies. Why not?
Yeah, I don't argue on that one. Some names are, you know,
Oh,
weird,
going to Mr.
but and I know that those are boos, but here's the thing
Oh,
though: those names are like pokies and boos and goombas. That is their English name, but in Japanese, may not have not the same. May look like way different, sound like different. Though it's even the same thing as for Pokemon characters and even the actual Pokemons.
you want to
Some
know what
actually,
you want to know what the names of the eyeballs are?
what?
Their names are Mr. Eyes. Just Mr. Eyes for no reason at all. It's
Wow.
so stupid.
Okay. Like I said, some of the Pokemon character, the actual Pokemon from the franchise, they only like a few of them that literally has that's names that are even the original Japanese name that sounds similar to English name, like Venusaur, which is Bulbasaur's last evolution form. In translated from Japanese, it would be like strange flower.
What's the sign
The
say?
only one of those, the most iconic Pokemon, Pikachu, is one of the
Sweden.
few that
Up
is
on
one
the
of the
wing
few that
cat
still
switch.
have.
I
What?
did it. I said I stepped on the wing cat switch. That's what the sign said.
Hmm.
So
You know,
right.
I'm not actually. I'm looking forward to see if there's gonna be more Pokemon generations. The funny part is that um, it was
Uh,
a few years ago. I believe it was when right. That was shortly after Sword and Shield had been released. Gen 8 was released. I was like, okay, now we have Gen 8 being released a few years ago. I think it was around 2019. I was like, with the next 5 years or so, it will have the next generation. Uh, I was right though, because exactly 3 years after they released Scarlet and Violet, the Generation 9, even though I said with the next 5 years, and they actually released the next game only like 3 years later, I was spot on. And even though the most of the other games had been based on Japan and even Chinese culture, but the eighth generation and the seventh generation was not. The seventh generation was based on
um.
Hawaii. Eight
Okay.
was for Great Britain and Scotland, and nine
You can burn from that.
is inspired from Iberian Peninsula and Portugal, I believe. So I may wonder what's if there's gonna be a Gen 10. I may wonder what that's gonna be based on. Perhaps
America.
maybe they will based on Scandinavian or maybe North American. Who knows?
Okay, well I can't get that HP
But
I
I
have.
am also a bit curious on when it comes to like Pokemon. How many generations will there be of the game entirely? It's must the it really eventually be some form of limit how many generations they can actually do the game. And I know that some of them are. some of my viewers may actually be a Pokemon fan and had seen the most recent Pokemon series, Pokemon Rising. Um, I actually has only seen uh, I think total of 20 plus of the episodes so far. Even though they might have even the numbers exact number is way more than that. But even though they may had only say 30 episodes now being released in English, that's it's not even all of
Up
them.
art.
There are still some episodes that hasn't even been released in the US because
I
they
can
had
right.
they had not even been dubbed in English or
As with
had
that,
even been released in Japan itself.
cool.
Though is of all of the Pokemon series out there, from the very original, there's only one episode that was not even broadcasted on TV here, where I live, or in US. Basically, nowhere else other than Japan. That particular episode was
The
literally
Ollie ones,
banned.
right?
Polygons, yeah. That episode was literally banned all over the world, included in Japan.
Wait. There we go.
It was actually broadcasted on TV and
Camera.
only once. That episode was actually only broadcast in Japan only once. And the main reason why that particular episode was banned, well, let's say it was because that it caused 12 children to end up in a hospital due to the fact of severe seizures. Yeah, you heard me right. A single episode caused a dozen of kids end up in hospital for seizures. It's because that there was this blinking flash of lights quickly flashing caused to trigger the seizures, And I understand why that episode was banned from Japan, not only the whole world. But but the most shocking is a clip, a short clip from that episode is now on YouTube. I don't know how that was even possible, and I don't know understand why that video hasn't even been removed by YouTube, considering how it triggered um, so many kids in Japan with so much severe seizures. So I don't understand why that video on YouTube hasn't even been removed. I actually seen that video, and I understand why some parents or at least the Japanese government decided not to even to broadcast that one ever again, and also make sure that not even being released. Okay, that's a blue
I'm
Mario.
a blue.
That's a unique blue Mario and green face.
Yep,
Yep.
it's like an olive green kind of. You know what? I'm gonna do the badge cap.
But
Ow.
so yeah, even though okay, you remember from Toy Story 2, I believe it were, where having Buzz having that speech to the toys. Well, it turned out that scene in the original were this American flag, but in the background, or at least from when that movie was distributed from a different part of the world, that scene was eventually replaced. Instead, for the American flag, they actually had uh, the globe, having an Earth globe spinning in the background instead. It's just, I believe it was in, oh, now I remember, even Monster Inc. had its own scene from that movie, and the original had been replaced with something else. In the movie, but they were one of the characters holding a tray with cupcakes or muffins on, had it spelled "Pell" on it. But in other different countries, when that movie was released on, they actually changed that instead for the word "Pell." They didn't want to have to spend time to change that from the word "Pell" to in the different languages. So instead, they made a smiley face on those. And I don't think that's not even bad either. I mean, yeah, so and I saw this theory that Sally from Monster Inc. is dead. That
It's always
somehow,
stuff like that.
well, here's the thing. There are two brothers who made this channel on YouTube. They talked about it, and one of the brothers actually pointed out that one, uh, I believe was in Turning Red, I believe was or like that. They were actually showing a toilet seat having fur matching exactly as for Sully's fur, like those light blue with those purple spots on it. And even as Randall has said in the first movie to Solon that if monsters been caught in the human world, they will like skin them and put their skin or fur as a toilet seat. I was like, what the? And I was, yeah, I was really surprised if that's a theory, but I really doubt it. That's even possible. The only and for 1 month,
Okay,
okay.
so where starts?
And as for the monster snowman, the abominable snowman in the first movie they made, he was actually exiled from the monster world to the human world after doing something. So that just comes to my mind. What about other monsters like Bigfoot, Nessie? Could they also have been monsters from the monster world and had been exiled in the human world? Think about it. I mean, if the snowman had been exiled to the human world and been referred as a Yeti, and if there were monsters that looks like him but brown or black fur, and that been could have been exiled somewhere in the North America, well, he would have been perfectly fit as a description as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And any monsters that look like a reptile that can live in actual water or on land that could have been exiled for some reason. Maybe Nessie could have been a monster from that world. It perfect makes sense. I mean, think about it though. But at the same time, it's a little bit tricky. And I did mention this sort of my at my workplace this week. Um, I actually we talked about the Disney's live action movies, what we thought about them, and I did mention three movies that Disney is not gonna make. One, Pocahontas, which is not gonna happen. It's due to cultural insensitivity, and Sword in the Stone was originally on the list that's gonna be made, but it has been put on the shelf for some time being now. And the second one was Hunchback of Notre Dame, which also was originally on the list, but has also been put on hold. And that movie was originally supposed to be in a mix of the original book the author made back in late 1800s, I believe, and the Disney classical version. And yeah, I don't know. But then, as I did read about a few weeks ago, Disney is by next year are planning for a new live action movie, Disney's very first movie they ever made, Snow White. It's going to be released as a remake next year. And they actually had released the people that voice actors for that characters, um, but only so far. Snow White, Grumpy has been released of their names. There are in fact two characters that doesn't match up any of the original from the original movie, which is a character named Maple. I don't know where, or I don't know. And the second one is a male character named Jonathan. I was like, scratch my head and Jonathan. But who can Jonathan be? Could that be the hunter that was sent off by the evil queen to kill Snow White? Maybe. But he was only mentioned in the movie as huntsman. But then it came to my mind. What about the actual prince? Oh, that was pretty nice talking to you. Wow.
Okay.
Really hit on that one.
All right. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, I believe that Jonathan from Disney's new version might actually be the
Sure.
prince. It's just in the original, he was only being referred as the prince, and not by actual name. But the funny is, I somehow came across his name to be Florian. So if Florian is not their actual name anymore, who knows? I mean, uh, okay, game guy,
Yeah.
you like the Toy Story movie, right?
Which one?
Do you like the Toy Story movies?
Oh yeah, they're really good.
Um, how would you react if they had? I mean, since those movies are CGI, so they can't even be anything other than that. So, how would you feel if they decide to make either as a CGI live action mix or as an entirely live action with all the characters?
Uh, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's of all the toys in the first two movies, there's only one character. She even appeared in the fourth one. I don't remember her name, but she isn't actual a toy. You know, the one that has those sheeps. She's not
Okay.
even an actual. Yeah, she isn't. She actually, when she appeared in the first two movies and the fourth one of the Toy Story, she's not even a toy at all. She is part of a lamp, not an actual toy. So I was, yeah, I was actually, even though I never actually thought about it. I mean, it wasn't until like years later after I would realize, hey, she's not even a toy. Why isn't she even a part of this movie at all? But yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised in that. And yeah, I mean, considering the characters and all, but even though when Bonnie made in the Ford movie made fork, like with a plastic fork with the eyes and some arms to it, she kind of considered that as a toy. So then why not as one has that part of a lamp that can actually be as a toy? And there is one, the bad guy, Sid. I believe he actually appeared in right. He actually appeared in the third movie, but he was like a garbage man. So But soon after the first movie, after the toys somehow show him that they were alive and they were full aware what he was doing to them, and after that he changed his mind and decided to be friendly and start to act better when he was older. Sid was actually a very terrible character in the Toy Story movies, but I mean, of all the movies we have of either Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks, we always assume that we always have seen this adult as a main bad guy. But having an actual kid as a bad guy, or at least a smaller role as a villain, is a very interesting idea to approach that. I'm not sure how many fans really might actually could agree on that. But if they were somehow decide to make a live action version of Toy Story, I might not know where. I mean, I have no idea what my words would stand on that, but my opinion is that it might not even be as good as the original
Oh,
is,
well, I'm not gonna get that star because they're gonna be forced to go into Bowser.
since knowing that Moana is having a second movie being released sometime next year, and that it's gonna be interesting since I actually never seen the first movie, only seen part of it. Um, the only that they based on the trailer that's of the first official trailer is the Moana is giving a new task to find this ancient island. We're hoping to unite every community of different islands all together, and and that she asked her old friend, the demigod Maui, to help her. And she actually joins in with some other human friends of hers, and they came across this boat. It's not by humans. I don't know if they're like tikis or anything, but seeing her being shot by darts, like sleeping darts, like fall asleep. And not so shocking news is that Moana is the very first CGI version movie that's literally going to have its own original live action version within the next 2 years. It's literally been decided to Moana is going to be in live action and released in 2026. And that actually makes the 10 years anniversary when the first movie was even released. I was like, whoa, whoa, okay. um,
You know
yeah, I
what? I'm
mean,
gonna get the points.
you know, based on how many other Disney classical out there that's been made as a movie, then live action, some others have not been a live action. I
Let's
mean,
say.
but considering how many stores all this uh, there is so far of different characters and all, I'm actually just a bit surprised of I mean, in my opinion, I think that Disney wants to make live action versions of the original classical ones. I'm not judging that, but doing a lot of changes, it's not okay, in my opinion. And okay, you remember Emperor's New Groove with the first movie they made?
Yeah.
What if they decide to make that as a live action? That would have been
A
terrible.
disaster.
Yeah. I mean, especially, in that one scene where, um, okay, I don't even remember the main character. The prince name or the emperor's name is. It had been a while since I saw the movie and the series, but nevertheless, if they put it decide to put him and that villager together on that uh, in that tree tied together, when they're falling off the waterfall, and when he says, "Bring it," and if they decided to change that and not have that in the movie, but that speaking line, I will lose my mind because that scene is iconic. It's hilarious. And what if? And what's next? Road to the road to El Dorado. If that if that would have been as a live action, I
Got it.
would not see it. I would not see it.
Dude, why is it so far
There,
down? I realized how down it was.
I mean, considering how many movies out there, Pinocchio, the new version of it, the remake, had not seen it, and not going to. It just I don't like the
Hey, you
most
would
for the
normally be here. Open the can for no reason.
but the only live action that I have seen of the Disney's remakes is Aladdin 2019 version. And knowing for the fact that there is a sequel in the making of that one, it just it's a slight problem with it. As the original, Genie gets free from his lamp, but in the new version, it's far from it. Instead, he is total human. So, so how that will make that work in the sequel, I don't know. There's like really no make sense how to even making unless they're somehow making Genie to regain his Genie powers again, or maybe his two children that will be involved. I mean, I would have been surprised and shocked is that his son and daughter has Genie powers at some point in their lives. I'd be like, Disney, you really ruin it. I mean, and I am surprised that, and not only that, in the first movie, we'll have as in the original, there is this prince that's begging or asking for to marry Jasmine. In the first movie of the remake, that happens. But instead, I learned that the same prince named Anders is going to have his own movie. I'm just what? Why would he have his own movie? Knowing for a fact that he had only one scene in the entire movie that he appeared in, and he's getting his own movie? I am really speechless about that one. And uh, get away from you. Jump fly. I hate those flies sometimes. But there is another classical movie of Disney did made back in the late 90s, Mulan. The live action they made, I was really surprised that they actually decided to make that, but the
Huh.
only but
Okay.
huge the only huge disappointment of live action remake of Mulan is one character they did not add in, Mushu. They didn't even put in the dragon Mushu in the remake. I was like, what the? I mean, game guy, you had to agree at least that Mushu in the original the original Mulan was very backbone of the comedy.
Yeah, well,
Don't you think so?
it was the ass of the comedy in the sequel. We don't
Yeah,
talk about Mulan 2 in this house.
yeah. Well, I mean, it is that he is the very backbone of the old comedy in that movie. But when they decided not to include him in the live action, I'm just so stunned. Why? Why? I mean, why the heck did they not include him
Well,
in that?
we
Just,
might as well play them.
I'm really disappointed that they did not include him in that movie at all. I had read tons of different upcoming movies based on Disney's remakes. There are so many that has been still in the wait to be made. I can give you one other example that's really ruined a classical one. Beauty and the Beast. In the very original Disney and Beauty and Beast, Belle's mother had long been passed away. In the deleted scenes of the original, there were actually scenes of her being in it, but she had passed away when
Oh,
Belle was very
oh,
young.
you want me to go in there so bad?
But in the remake, it turned out that her mother did die, and they added in the scene. But
Wait,
what she died of, it was the plague. Though it kind of correspond to like actual happened because the plague did in fact infected Europe during the 1700s, which the that movie is also said to take place in. But yeah, all of that, and the villagers in Belle's village, let's say they were not even in the original, they were not perhaps not even aware of the castle existed, but in the remake, they weren't because they could not even remember the actual castle for a reason. They had the memory loss, or at least the memories of the castle was blocked. The same fairy that had put a spell on the staff and the prince to transform them even put the same spell, or at least a different spell, on the people in the village, so they wouldn't remember the castle. Even one particular character, the blacksmith, he tried to remember something that he thought that he forgot, but it somehow triggered a headache. And it turned out that blacksmith was actually the husband of Mr. Potts and the father of Ship. And that was not even happening in the original. And another small detail is that they made Gaston's friend gay, and somehow at least implied to be gay in this the remake. I have I have no way against that. I mean, I I'm actually not against it that if this character would be bisexual, gay, or anything. In fact, I support that. But the other thing is that I really make this the main thing that made the whole movie ruined. As we all know, the prince would have remained as the beast if the last petal of the rose had fallen before anyone could actually declare themselves in love with the beast. If Belle had even told him that, he had remained as a beast. But his old friends, the staff of the castle, would have stopped to be a living. Instead, they would have been transformed into actual objects. But in the original, that didn't happen. If the petal had fallen, and they would have remained as living objects. But in the remake, It was far off from that. I understand why though. I mean, if they had that is my that opinion itself is what I think really ruined that classical Disney movie. And that's the same thing as from Mulan. Not to include Mushu. It will only ruin it because he was the very backbone of the entire comedy. Without him, it's not the same thing. So I don't understand why Disney want to make some changes in that, even that some very
You
very
know,
loyal old fans.
I'm sick of this freaking baby.
It won't even work. What the?
But, yeah, you can do that.
What?
It's just a thing you can do for some reason. I
That
don't
is
know
just
why.
weird.
It's so dumb.
Well, I mean,
I'm taking some
but
steps.
yeah. But my opinion of Disney's classical movies are really have been ruined much of this. And the same thing as when it comes to Toy Story. I love Toy Story 1 and 2, but the third movie, it kind of made the whole thing even less enjoyable. I mean, considering that the first movie was actually a breakthrough. That was the first start of the whole CGI movies. But I really didn't enjoy much of the third Toy Story movie, though. It just it wasn't really the same, same feeling of comedy, action, kind of romance. But the fourth movie, I had not even seen it yet.
Oh,
Oh, that's an ice cream Mario.
but well, actually, I'll do the one I have in mind, and then I'm gonna need some more seeds.
Hmm. But yeah, so the fourth movie of the Toy Story, I have not even seen it, and I
Like
may not
brown,
even going to.
brown, get in there.
And now the fifth movie is being developed or in the development. Okay, I was like, that might be an interesting to see how. And they had only been released one scene from Zootopia 2. Is where Nick and Judy are in fact somewhere, I believe it is in Zootopia. They were trying to track down a snake to be the bad guy. And that they, in this scene, they are talking to a beaver, and that he is trying to tell them how to be considering to the people around them, or at least be a little bit more sensitive how the people or the animals around them could be sensitive to depending on what they're happening. So, and there that he brings brings them a huge fish and rings a bell, and then suddenly this big walrus comes out in from the middle of the canal, lake, or river, where they are, like a bayou, and the beaver started talking to him, but you can't pick up a single, like an actual word. It sounds like gibberish. And then the beaver's like, "Signal snake? Nope." And the walrus takes the big fish and eats it and goes down again. I mean, that is just great. The first Zootopia movie was hilarious. I am really looking forward to the sequel, though. Back in 2016, when the first movie was actually being released, there were talks about Zootopia 2 and 3 to being developed, but it didn't happen. Then 2019,
Oh, I guess it's spawned up here
Um,
now.
then
Oh,
2019 when Frozen 2 was released, and it turns out that now the third Frozen third movie is gonna be released in 2026, and the
honestly,
fourth
something.
and the fourth Frozen is gonna be
Okay.
released in 2027 or 2028, I believe it was. I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen in those two movies. I may wonder if Hans from the first movie is gonna somehow return in the sequel. And
I
the
hear.
only
I heard he was. I heard he was supposed to have a redemption in Frozen 2, but that got scrapped for
yeah,
whatever reason. I don't know
they
why
were
it
actually
got
in the well, he did actually had he actually returned in the sequel, but as a frozen like a snow statue, but like a talking snowman. Though he did actually appear in a short special that they would made where um, Elsa's birthday. She she's sick with a cold, and she blows this huge horn. And when it happened, she sneezes, and every time she sneezes, a snowball happened appeared. And with that horn, it huge snowball flies all the way to the place where he lives. And at the time what happened, he's actually in the stables taking care of the horse manure in a wagon. Let's say what happened that huge snowball hits that wagon and covers him with the horse manure. And the horses seeing this and start laughing. But the only I believe only its potential could happen in the third movie is that we know for a fact one thing. In the sequel, in the second, Anna has been crowned as the queen, and since she and since Christopher actually proposed to Anna in the second movie, so it's maybe potentially that
dude.
he might actually that they are planning to have a wedding in the
Dude,
third
what?
movie.
What in the world are you talking about? Why can't I get a superstar?
I think it's possible. I believe it's possible that Anna and Christopher,
There we go.
Christoph is actually going to have to
Um,
getting married in the third movie, but then this unknown bad guy is showing up and causing problems to which causes the whole wedding to be delayed and that Anna is writing a letter to her sister Elsa to join back down to help them with this issue. I mean, that's the only thing I could consider that happened. And in the fourth movie, well, this is on my own theory, is that what if what if that actually is where Christoph and Anna is already been married for a while and they're expecting their first child, and that some dark forces is happening. I don't know if that could happen in the Frozen 4 or even as that in the third movie where
this
someone
room,
actually
sir.
somehow returns.
We need to
But
talk
I
about
don't
it,
know.
sir.
I actually looking forward to see the third movie of Frozen. Um, a little bit a bit funny though. In my country, the name of the Frozen movies aren't actual Frozen. Their names are actually Frost.
Oh, dead.
Yep, you're dead. Oh,
And
at
I
least you
got
get
the
the
star
song.
anyway. I did it. I'm so good.
Lucky and unlikely. Bad luck though, but don't. Okay. Um,
Ow.
Game guy, which one is your favorite character from the Frozen?
I don't know.
I have to say, Olaf. I mean, the talking snowman. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's fun, Or even
Grab the
Sven,
damn monkey.
the
Thank you.
reindeer. But yeah, I'm actually worried, not worried, but curious of what's going to happen in the third movie in the fourth
Let's
of
take a walk.
Frozen.
Don't fall off that. Thank you. What's the sign say? Thank you for your advice. Please don't spawn somewhere stupid. It's kind of spawn somewhere stupid, isn't it? Oh. Well, if you're gonna spawn right next to me. Literally. Mario. Thank you. Now let's call it, shall we? Because we haven't done that yet. Where do you think Tall Mountain's gonna go?
The clock world.
You think TikTok Clock?
Yeah.
Hazy Base Cave. I feel like. I don't know. I'm feeling it.
Nope.
Oh,
Snowman
well. Snowman's Land. I thought it was going to be the Vanish Cap for a second. Alright. Don't worry, I see the ridiculous amount of seeds you put.
Yeah, I could probably put more.
I think that's good for now.
Yeah, and the stream will last about 2 hours, which I usually do.
Alright, sounds good.
Yeah, so after the stream is over, well, I'll go back to make some stores again, since, but which one? No idea. I mean, I have been asked to do so many stores for the past few years now, so it's like an unending cycle for me. I mean, I have, what can it be? There are at least close to 700 stores or something like that. There are so many of those. And there are some stores that have not been uploaded yet, but there are many more to do. And I'm even going to work on some quizzes that have been worked on for a while now, like cryptids, some others. It just.
Let me just enjoy this music real quick. Oh yeah, best physics. By the way, how many stars do I need to get in here anyway? That's right.
And I will be muted for a little bit.
Alright. Oh, this sounds so good. Alright, I've done that. Forgot! But at least we get to listen to the best music again. A small price to pay for such a bad level. Sir, we needed to talk about your car's extended warranty. But first you have to talk to this guy. This guy will be your representative. Sir, talk to this guy about his car's extended warranty. See ya. Alright. I like the other music better. Ow. Don't get Tall Mountained. I mean, Tiny Huge Island did. I mean, something or other did. Move me. Brother, I actually don't believe you. Sir, you need to die. Sir, you're incredibly handsome. I'm sorry, you're charming, you're handsome, I'm dead. He was too hot for me. For Mario to hand. I might go 1-star mode for Swedish's seeds. And up on the roof, sure. I don't know if I've ever spawned on top of the roof before. Is there anything up here? Doesn't look like it. There's star 6. I don't see the boom for star 5. Sir, you need an eye doctor, and I'm here to be your eye doctor. So can you give me a star? That'd be great. Where is this gonna spawn? Please don't be on top of the roof. That's fine. All right, I'll go get that then. So welcome to the stream. I'm Game Guy, also known as Kyle, also known as whatever. Roy's currently not here right now. He's I don't know where the hell he went. But yeah, we're doing the randomizer today because I didn't feel like doing the game show, and because I don't know, I just feel like doing Mario today. I guess I don't know. Let's get star 6. Let's get started on those seeds. But first, we're gonna do the bonus seed. You already know that's going on the list. Watch, this is when Malachite shows up. While Swedish is AFK. This is a very important scene to me. 3313. If you know, you know. That is the right number, right? Hold on a second. Let me just check something real quick. Is it 3313 or is there another 3 in there? It looks like it might be 3313. Yeah, it's 3313. All right, cool. All right, 3313. If you know, you know. I'm expecting some strange things out of this dude. The number is giving me high hopes. Ow. I already know we have 7, 8, 4, 5 somewhere on the seeds, so we're gonna ignore that one. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone actually knows about B3313. They should, because it's such a good game. Well, it's not a good game, it's a good ROM hack. From what I've seen, anyway. Psst. I'm gonna give you a secret. Actually,
Mario? When did you turn forest green?
I have fun with this. I have way too much fun with this.
Yeah, I can tell.
Alright, Mario, let's get you. Yeah, change the seat while you were gone.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I had to be in nature called.
Alright, let's see. We got 1 star over there. Can't really see any other ones from here. So we'll go at that one. Where is it? Down there? Actually, there's 2. Either of them will do. Oh, right, there's a platform there. Oh, yeah, this annoying TikTok clock. Yep, I definitely stomped on that thwomp, alright. Thanks, star name. Oh, it spawned me up here. Nah, I don't feel like getting star 1. Look at star 5. Fizzy music. What?
What's your opinion of Kinder Eggs?
I've never had them. Star, give me star 5.
What? You never had a Kinder Egg?
They never looked good to me. My fault.
What the heck? That's an iconic candy, though.
That surprised you a lot more than I thought it would. Madam, this better be your baby, and you better not throw the star like a million miles away. Okay, well, you can't throw your star a million miles away if it's not your baby, I guess. Let's do it. I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we're doing it. The real baby's gonna be over where all Cook's Park would be. Hey, star 5. But I can't crack for some reason. Hi, Toad. Talk to me. Am I glad to see you? Bouncer has please recover there are rooms where you can collect 8. Good talk. Oh, that's what I get for skipping his dialogue, I guess. Right, going? Okay. Oh, I'm still dead. Oh, I'm still not dead.
So
Really?
Roy is it, Jim?
Yes, and if you didn't hear, there was a car alarm for some reason. I don't know whose car alarm it was, but they did turn it off.
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
Either my mic is ridiculously good and I've been making fun of it. What? I touched that heart. There's no way I didn't touch that. Well, at least you get to listen to the awesome music again. Alright, get in there. Son of a... Stop giving me Tiny Huge Island! I would rather the Vanish Cap. At least the Vanish Cap is over with. Yeah, there. Just race me.
Brace for impact.
Run! Get hit in the face by a Goomba for some reason, because of course.
About that, those are the giant bowling balls. What are their names?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. They're called Big Steelies. I don't know why they're called that, but they are, and it's weird. This game is weird. What the? Mario, get up there.
What about those giant Venus trapped plants, though?
Those are piranha plants. And you,
And
sir, are in my way. I don't remember where the star went, but I do remember that you're just going to throw me like a million miles in the air. So I'm gonna just toss you in here.
that one you throw, or that name is.
That's a chuck ya. It chucks you.
And a giant fish.
Well, their names would normally be cheap cheeps, but if I do remember right, that is different from a cheap cheap. I believe they're called Big Berthas.
Big birds.
Big Berthas, yes.
Huh.
That's their name. That's the Mario Bros. 3 enemy. Toad, I don't know what you're gonna say, but I don't really care. Don't worry, those electric guys that electric guy I just ran right past, that guy's called an amp. For some reason. That starts right. Sir, I would like you to fight me.
What are those called?
These are
Blockies?
called no, these are called womps. For some reason.
What?
Yep. Because they womp on the ground for some reason. It's great.
Weird names.
The city has just weird names all over. That's the most normal name in this game. It's weird. Me and Bowser, anyway. Alright. It's time. I haven't done it in a while. I wasn't really feeling that one. It's time. 1-star mode activated. Alright. If one of them is already on here, it's not a big deal. We have plenty to go for. 78:45, which I'm like 90% sure is already on here. Yep, it's on here. And I shook the thing by accident. All right, 98:13.
Have you heard anything from Dylan by any chance?
Well, he's said hi a few times. He's called me a few. Other than that, not really.
Any words when he's getting back home?
He hasn't figured it out yet. I mean, to be fair, he did kind of just get there, so he might not be back for a while. And just so I don't have to keep looking at the thing. It's 98:78. By the way, we're officially at 3 pages of the randomizer.
Oh wow. Already?
So, well, we're at 2. I just started the 3rd, but yeah. So it might take me a while to get through all these seeds.
Yeah, take your time though. Not in a hurry.
I mean, after this, I'm going to Dad's, so there's that, but
I mean, you don't have to do all of those that I put today though.
I know, but I like to challenge myself. I'm a sadist. without the pain. Alright, one star mode activated.
I mean, should I be worried that people say this? Oh, okay, Mario. That's a good look, Mario.
Nah, you shouldn't be worried about it. I'm fine. Famous last words. Okay, fine. We'll go for 5. Sir, I heard you don't like shells. But Sally sold me this seashell by the seashore, so you're gonna have to see how the seashell from Sally sees upon your sea, if that makes sense, sir. Sir, you destroyed Sally's seashore by the seaside. I mean, Sally's seaside from the sea, something or other. I don't know what I'm talking about. My tongue got twisted because you destroyed Sally's seashell by the seashore. I don't even know why we're talking about a sea in the winter, but we are. So don't worry about it. Now I'm about to get the star to avenge Sally's seashell by the seashore by getting the star by the seaside of the seashore that isn't even here. Therefore, grabbing it with my super shoes that Sally sold me by the seashore. You see? I don't know what I just said, but I think I lost my mind somewhere in there.
I think you lost your mind like 10 years ago.
I lost my mind the second I was born.
Sounds about right.
How many seeds is there? Let's see.
I kind of lost my mind around I don't know,
1, 2,
when I was 6 years old after my brother threw that rock on my head. But other than that, my life had been, let's say, normal.
I know both of the seeds I'm seeing right now aren't there.
I wonder why we hadn't seen, I don't know. I mean, I understand that Malachi has not been here since he usually has some other things to do on Saturdays, and I'm surprised that Kubo hadn't even showed up, or even Taylor, for about that, or even Cody. I don't know.
I can't think of any other tongue twisters.
Okay, that's a strawberry Mario.
Okay, Mario picked pink from Peter Piper.
There is actually one that is kind of a statement where you can say, you know, this says saying saying six seamen or something like that fast 5 times or something.
Well, there's also Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Who could ever forget that one? But Mario picked pink from Peter Piper.
Have you seen a video where usually young characters singing and dancing with their hands up, like almost like they're kind of like rapid airs or something like that? The song is called Caramel Dancing, I believe. Have you?
Fortunately, sir.
You know,
okay, well, I'm dead.
So basically, the song "Caramel Dancing" is actually in Swedish.
Always the fucking Spanish cap. I don't get it.
Hey. It's been long and bored.
Dude, every single time we do this, we always get this damn course at least like 4 times. So consistent.
I really need to get through all the list of other stories ideas I had. Oh, there he is.
There's not going to be any coins back here. And I'm going to say, dude, I can't believe there's no coins back here. Dude, I can't believe there's no coins down back here. I almost said the wrong thing, even though I just said the right thing 1 second ago. And now I have to walk all the way back to where I was, hoping that I don't fall into this stupid gap that I fell through before. Now I have
Makes
to
sense.
backflip up this ramp metal thingy bobber that Mario doesn't somehow lose his bate to. Land on top of this, actually, yeah. Okay. There's a coin up there. There's 7. Now, all we have to do is find the 8th coin, and we will be fine. Get on up there, Mario.
So, about the what happened in November for you guys in America with the election and all. So, just curious, who are you gonna elect for this year, or at least voted for?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Huh. Well,
Is it like,
if I was an American, I have a clear answer already. None. I wouldn't even vote. If there's only, if it was Biden or Trump that in election, well, let's say I wouldn't vote I wouldn't want to vote for either of them. Especially Trump. Trump had just he had so many bad things that was so bad in it over during his time as a president. And Biden, I mean, I did have some trust in him while he was electable, but not as much anymore. Now that he decided not to run anymore for re-election, so I mean, it makes sense. After all, he's 81 years old, so I mean, okay. If I say from this, if there was one between Biden and Trump, well, in the first time, I say Biden had more advantage at the time. And his advantage was that he was a senator for Delaware for a number of years. So he was very dedicated to the politics. I think it was about 20 or 30 years that he was a senator for Delaware. So he had at least a number of years under his belt when it came to politics. Oh, that's a Mario. But if I mean compared to Biden and Trump, Biden has more experience when it comes to politics. Trump, he was more like in business. Even though he was a very
dude,
active, even
he
though he was
gave me
very active
advantage.
Republican,
What the fuck?
but you see, I understand I know for that the American president can only be sitting for 2 terms,
Actually,
which means about 8 years total. But the Swedish prime minister, he can be sitting on the seat of power as a prime minister, not for 8 years, not for 10 years. He can be seen at the seat of power as at the seat of the prime minister for as even as 50 or even 100 years, as long as that particular party, the political party that he is part of, has the most majority of votes. Unless otherwise, it wouldn't happen. I know for a fact there was one political party in my country that literally were the main power for 40 years. Not the same political, not the same leader, or at least a political party leader or something like that. But I don't know. The first time I could have voted was in like in 2008 when I turned 18. Sadly, I couldn't because the election is in September, and my birthday was way past in September, so I couldn't. And the first time I was able to vote, I was super excited, also nervous. But ever since then, I haven't really much given much thoughts of politics. And every time when there are talks about politics or in for election, if it's in my country or if it's an American election, I stay away from the news. Basically, even from online, on the TV, you name it. I don't get myself involved in politics. And if anyone like, oh yeah, or do you want to try? If you want to join a party and be the next, the main leader of our party, and oh, perhaps run for be a prime minister, I'd be like, what? Nope, nope. I prefer to be neutral, and to be fair, politics not really sounds well to me. I mean, I have no interest to join any form of party or politicals at all. Not even a political party leader or any official political occupation or anything. In fact, you can't even. I know for a fact in US you have this elections also for mayors into towns like that. We don't. It is not anymore. We used to have mayors, but not anymore. That title had been abolished long time ago, long before even I was born. But yeah, I really don't. Like I said, I really don't care about politics. It is one of the few things I prefer not to get myself involved to. And even if I would have been moved to the US and if I'm old enough, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm old enough. I can apply for being a president. But nope, I can't. Uh, for be a president in the US, first you had to be born in the country. Two, you had to be 35 or older in order to be that. If you're 20 years old or 25 years old, you can't at all. Of all the presidents in the U.S. history do I know of, only one, only one sat in power for 3 terms. That was Henry Truman. And of all the presidents in the entire American history, there was only one that didn't even sit for not even 1 or 2 terms. In fact, he left office just 6 months after he was elected. He didn't leave on purpose. Reason was that he died. Well, he died as well. So basically, that president Benjamin Harrison died of the pneumonia, which is a terrible disease to die from. So, game guy, what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving?
Not really sure.
Not even turkey?
Eh, I'm not really a big turkey guy.
Shocking.
I know, hot take. I know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I just get sick of it after a while, I guess.
I like turkey though. You know, I mean, even though Thanksgiving is kind of somehow surprising enough celebrated in my country, but not in the same scale as in the US. My family has never celebrated Thanksgiving. I mean, it's just like I said, it's American tradition, and I know for a fact that there are some Swiss traditions that also have been celebrated in the US, mostly due to the fact that there are a lot of Swedish Americans and especially immigrants that moved in the US over a century ago, bringing some of their traditions with them. And it makes perfect sense. And in a way, Sweden actually set its first man on the moon 1969 with Apollo 11. Because Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, he was actually a Swedish American. So in a way, Sweden was like the first European actually being on the moon. Oh man. Wow, we have passed 2 hours. We can go for a bit longer.
We can finish up these last three seeds if they're not already on the list, and then we can end it there.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, I'm not in any hurry for any particular reason anyway. So, you know, about space, it's so interesting thing about it. You know, I mean, I literally read somewhere. Um, uh, where did I? Where the heck did I put that one? Oh, there we are. Uh, an old. I had this old magazine about space stuff, but this one is like uh really outdated information. Um, let's go see here. There was something about the space. Let's see here. Uh, not mirror. Ah, here we go. I know for the fact that the Russian space station Salyut 7 actually at one point in 85 was suffering from power blackout. And there was no people on board the station. And when they returned back to the station, they had to one of the people one of the cosmonauts had literally wearing a hat in order to move around this station. There were even one time, I believe it was the Russian satellite. Let me see here. Soviet broke apart in 1991. Let's see. I believe it was Salyut 7 that literally were at one point is that the Americans, or at least the people on board, when they was having really a big problem. When the station had suffered from a blackout, it meant that no oxygen had been released, and it took them days for restoring all the stations to 100% function again. And that they had to leave the station every every single day because since the oxygen on that station wasn't even 100% operational yet, and that since the station was filled with mostly carbon and carbon dioxide, they had to leave the station from uh, frequently in order to return back to repair the damages. And even as the International Space Station (ISS) has also suffered from uh, severely damages on board, including a fire. And but NASA's three biggest disasters in NASA's history. One, 1986, when Challenger blew up, and 2003, when Columbia burned up and exploded in re-entry, and the third, where of course the space station has some problems in that, and the people on the space station, they literally they felt like, how are they drinking some stuff on board the station? Like, are they allowed to drink any pop sodas like Coke, Pepsi, anything like that? Nope, they aren't. What about alcoholic beverages like beer, vodka, or anything? Nope, not at all. But there is one thing that astronauts, even American astronauts, are required before doing the training, is that they had to learn Russian as well. That is one of the requirements for that. Considering one of the first modules of the station was actually Russian, but the Russian is on board the station also is required to learn English. So even Sweden's only astronaut was on board the station back in early 2000s, and he spent 12 years in his training to even to get be on board. Excuse me, but that was his only time. Um, Game Guy, you probably had heard of the Apollo 13, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that the astronauts on board, when they had to abandon their mission to being going to moon, but when they had to repair some of the damage on board, like the filter, I read somewhere Apollo 14. Here we go. Here we go. Um, in order to fix this filter, they didn't even have the equipment or the spare parts for otherwise. But it took them a whole roll of duct tape and what was another? And it's also from the Apollo 13 with this what is saying this the reference the term Houston, we had a problem. Is this happened from? Um, Basically, that the crew of Apollo 13 had to fix the problem, at least repairing the damage, and they used a piece of cloth or fabric in order to have the part of the to repairing it. And the only fabric they used was socks. And even though they actually even had oxygen, the filter could filtrate, purify the carbon dioxide only for 2 men. There were like 2 men. There were 3 people on board as that's Apollo 13, but only that the filter had enough strength to only filter the carbon dioxide to pure oxygen for only 2 people, not 3. So, but they managed to fix that. And I also read, what was it? Nope, that was 14. Here we go. Um, if the last correction of the course for Apollo 13 had supposed to be flying, they would have missed Earth. Um, instead for actually like approaching Earth, they would have been missing that with they would have passed Earth with um on here we go. Let's see here. They would have passed Earth with 44,739 miles. That is a big deal. If they hadn't made the last correction on the course, 44,000 miles off, they will have passed by Earth, and they would not have even be able to return back because that model had only a limit fuel. So if they had missed Earth, they were already being considered as long gone. And Earth at the time in the late 60s could not have done anything to save them because first, they only at the time America, really like late 60s and early 70s, they only had Saturn V rockets, and not even the space shuttle wasn't even built. So if the space shuttle had been built, maybe there was a chance for them to maybe saving them, but not at all. So if they had missed Earth with that, even in the last correction, yeah, they would have been long dead. Even the system part in the model itself had a limited supply of air. So that happened. And even though Apollo 14 also made a slight problem, they literally landed in a small crater, which made the whole module slide. There were actually one man that said something from Apollo 14, or was it 14 or 15? Let's see here. And also another thing about Apollo 1, it wasn't just its original name as Apollo mission. The first one was known as.
Wait. You put the same seed twice.
Huh. Weird.
Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna make my own.
Here we go. Apollo first Apollo was named
A little bit of
AS
7,
204.
5, and a little bit of 2, and a little bit of 6. Perfect.
Okay, I found this. This is a quote for Pete Conrad of Apollo 12. He said, quote, "It may have been a small step for Neil, but it was a giant step for me," because he was actually one of the shortest astronauts. It's actually kind of interesting to see how space travel that it been evolved so much.
Swedish.
Yeah, I see him.
He's awesome.
Yep. I mean, considering that the first satellite was launched in Sputnik 1 in 1957, and that's like what? Whoops. Oh, come on. Seriously? That's about 67 years ago. So in the last almost 70 years, we had learned so much and developed a lot of things. And the next step for us, for humans, is to set up another man back on the moon and making a permanent base. And the next, as hopefully by 2030s, to have the first man set on his foot on Mars. There were actually one this organization from the Netherlands or Holland that was called Mars One. They were dedicated to put 4 people on Mars permanently, and there were thousands of people that applied for this organization. So they had to be nailed. So they had to narrow it down to 1,000 people, and from 1,000 people to like 24, and from there 24. There were 2 people that I know of at least
All right,
came
let's
from.
see.
There were only 2 people that came from Sweden actually. One, he wanted to. If he was elected,
Swedish.
he would. Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready for the last seed? Alright.
Yep. So basically, the first man, if he had been elected being sent to Mars, that's a keeper.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So the first man would have been,
Hold on a
if he had been
second.
elected, he would have opened his first brewery on Mars. And the second man, if he had been elected, he would have been gone there, but he had only a small problem though. He was a single parent. He had a young daughter back home, and as uh, as far as I can remember, her mother wasn't any longer in a picture. So that means that he was a sole parent to his own daughter. So I don't understand why he would even try to be applying to go to Mars, knowing for the fact that he couldn't bring to take her with him, and he wasn't even going back home because this was one-way ticket. But he wasn't elected though, and they were going to repeat this, sending 4 people each year to starting to build a smaller colony on the surface. And this was supposed to even be broadcasted live from Mars to Earth, like a reality show. Its only slight problem is that the transmission between Mars and Earth, despite being the closest, it takes about 15 minutes or so for a transmission from between Mars and Earth. So the transmission would have been quite a while. If it was between, let's say, the Sun and the Moon, Earth, that's like 8 minutes. Sadly, Mars One organization was actually then eventually went bankrupt. So we actually were able to send anyone to Mars or anything. If anyone asks me if I want to go to Mars, knowing for a fact if there was only one-way ticket, I would like no. There's no way I would like to be that. Even though I would have been the first Swedish person on the Mars, also first on my family to be there. But if I were married and I have kids, why would I even go as so far to just go to Mars and be there permanently and not even be able to see my kids growing up? I'd be like, I would have been probably want to go to Mars, but being there for permanently, sadly, no, I will not be able to go as so far. I mean, go to the or even go to space station, or even beyond those, uh, or even using SpaceX or Galactic Virgin. What is it, I think it's called? Let's see. This magazine did show some names of different organizations as a private organization. Let's see here. Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic. It estimates around $200,000 for just one ticket. And Space Adventures estimate $35 million for a ticket. And X Core $95,000. And SpaceX several $1 million. There were even some discussions of to build the very first space hotel in orbit, like making a space station, but not the same way as the ones that we have already. There were plans of being, well, plans or at least discussed about setting up a blow up hotel, like models that can be blown up like a balloon. And yeah, that would have been a little bit, maybe a little bit stretch on that one. There were even some ideas to literally build do that, but who knows when that happens? It's just that you have to consider at least one thing. If you put up a balloon and in space, even the slightest microscopic asteroid or meteorite can actually penetrate that, and you're gone. So building a station would have to be that can withstand any uh, space trash, debris, and in orbit and other things that could make some serious
Ranger?
damage.
Sorry, my focus is very much on this right now. We got 3 stars. Hang on here. No, I cannot. This is gonna be the last seed, by the way.
Yeah, I think so. That's nearly for 2.5 hours almost. But that Mario is a good one. You know, if that was Mario's brother looked like that, I wonder what his name would be.
I always knew Blueo.
Yeah, that perfect name.
Alright, where do you think
And
TikTok Clock goes?
Snowman Land.
Where have you been so far? Second Bowser. No, Secret Slide. I don't really get this one much. Guess to be fair, there's only 2 stars in that area. Alright, back into TikTok Clock I go, I guess.
So, any other plans for the remaining of the day and the rest of the weekend?
Outside of going to Dad's, not really.
Same here. Well, at least my dad has some plans for us to go fishing tomorrow. I mean, since that I am not even against on fishing. I mean, I have done it many times over the years, so it's actually it's kind of nice to just do some fishing. Just sitting there, even though it might sound boring, But fishing just sitting here next to the lake or river where you are is actually peaceful and
Swedish.
just brings them. Yep.
Oh, I was gonna ask what you thought it was gonna be, but then Mario decided he was going to move further than I thought it was going to.
But doing some fishing is actually is not a bad thing. I even remember the very first fish I ever got many years ago. I was about, I think, 6 or 7, I believe it was at the time. It was fun though. I remember, I think it was about, I think maybe 10 or 12 like that. I was with my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister. We were fishing in my hometown next to a river. Um, I had my fishing pole on the ground. I was doing something else, and as I picked it up later, it snapped in half. Well, it was because my that fishing pole was made of bamboo, and I it only do that if it was something very heavy. This also like a thin
You know what? I'm
bamboo
gonna go
pole.
and shoot for Mario's
So
one.
I literally used the other half, and and lifted with the fishing line, and sure enough, I literally had a big fish on it. I was well, I was surprised. Even though my dad himself had fishing way longer than I have, he did mention one time that he when he was fishing under a bridge, he had a big fish on the hook, but as he was reeling in, and the line snapped in half. I was like, that happens. Like shit happens. I have seen my dad literally end up stuck in a tree a few times while fishing, and I have also ended up being stuck myself in the bottom of the river or the lake because you never know exactly what's can be on the bottom of it. It's just, and if any of my friends would ask, do you literally keep the fish that you had and eat them later? No, I don't. I catch and release. Mostly because the fishes I do get up they aren't even that big. They're just small ones, and there are really not much to eat of. And did you push that one, the bomb?
No, better. I threw him off the edge. I just straight up picked him up and said,
Oh,
just
that's
get
just great.
thrown off the edge because Mario can just do that.
Oh
I'm
goodness,
still not
that
gonna even
just
look. It's just how it goes. Alright, where do you think Rainbow Ride goes? I haven't been in this one, I don't believe.
well, since you were in the Jolly Roger recently, so um what's the land where those pyramids are when the vulture or the condors?
Shifted Sandland.
Yeah, I think that one.
Have we been to Lethal Lava yet? I think we have. Alright. Big Boo's Haunt.
Nope.
Oh, never mind. We're going back to Jolly Roger.
Oh my goodness, that was just fun though.
That's the wrong area. That was the wrong area. Let's try that again.
TikTok
I'm
clock.
running out of stars here. I don't even know where the first star is.
I'm still. Oh, Kuvo is actually online at the moment on Discord.
Yeah, but he's probably
I,
calling his girlfriend or probably
yes,
eating or
probably.
probably doing something like that.
Yeah, makes sense. You know,
Is
you
a bun up
remember
there?
when you remember when we were in Kubo stream a while back that he played at that the game that a genie.
Yeah.
Anticore. I actually tried that myself online just to see what it was like. I was thinking of this. It's like the genie were to try to guess and right which character I was thinking about, and it actually turned out to be very accurate. I was thinking of the Princess Kala from the Disney's Gummy Bear, the young princess. I mean, she's a good princess, or a good character in a series, though. I was like, I was just thinking if this were being correct, I'd be like dumbfounded. But that genie was spot on, literally spot on. I was, but there was one of the times that the genie was actually wrong, though. But otherwise, it was spot on. Kind of surprising.
All right, let's go to the right area this time.
Shifting sand.
Yeah, I'm sticking my mind too. I forgot what it was. I think it was Big Boo's Haunt. Or it could be Snowman's Land. That works too. Alright, let's get it over with. Sir, would you like to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. I don't even know what that means, but I don't think I want to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get this the cool way. Cool way incoming. Get it cool way, because it involves ice. Ha 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 ha. Snow puns. Anyway, that's the last seed.
Yeah,
So
it is. Well, that was fun. Well, 2.5 hours. Sounds about right, since that we usually play for StreamYard for. Well, maybe next time we can do some Gagel stream, perhaps. And that topic was gonna be Scooby Doo. I really hope that Malachi could join in that, since I know the fact he is a Scooby Doo fan. So yeah. Well, everyone, it has been fun, and I'm hoping that everyone had a good time to watch this insanity or Mario Randomizer and all that stuff. And hey, could be worse. Could have been Chaos Edition.
I don't
That's
think I
even
was
more
mentally
crazy.
ready for that one.
I may wonder if we can do that other game you have, that of the squirrel bonkers.
Again, we can't because YouTube won't allow us.
Huh. That's a bummer. YouTube, sometimes you can be a little bit annoying, but that's fair. Good thing though. Well, maybe some other game then. Who knows? Well, everyone, this was fun. This is Switch Diablo signing off. Bye.
Bye. And goodbye.
And if you see Trump, run.
See Biden run faster.
See ya.